Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm Mickey Feldman-Simon. I am the founder of I Am Back at Work, and I'm very excited to have Nancy Capistran here with us today to present to you on how to show up as your best self, even when your life is in transition, and we've all been there. So before we get started, I just want to make sure that everybody can use the webinar panel. So your webinar panel may look like the image on the right where it is all closed up, or the image on the left where it is open. And the easy way to open and close it is just clicking on the orange arrow just at the top, and that will open, expand the panel, or close it down. Now, your panel may also be now in a place where it is obstructing the view of your PowerPoint. It's easy to move it out of the way. You just click anywhere at the top of the panel, and you click and you drag it out of the way. You place it anywhere so that it's not obstructing the view of the presentation. In the last 5 minutes of the webinar, we will have a Q&A session to ask questions. Just click on the gray questions bar, and then type in your questions in the blue rectangle right underneath. And we will address all of your questions at the end of the webinar. Now I'm going to turn my video camera off so that you can concentrate on the presentation, and I'm going to pass it on to Nancy. Thank you for joining us, Nancy.
Thank you. Mickey, I really appreciate the opportunity to present today. I wanted to start off with an interesting statistic. Did you know that 70% of the working world is unhappy in their job? It's a startling and very unsettling percentage, which is why I'm so passionate about making a difference in this world, specifically in the space of leadership. I gain great satisfaction from helping to navigate transformational shifts where it matters most, especially during high crisis times. My traditional clients are already successful executives of medium-sized, privately held companies. Both of my companies, Capistran Leadership and Crisis Interception, focus on enhancing senior-level leaders and making smarter decisions with better precision. It is my view that leadership is the common thread and at the very core for having a happier, healthier, prosperous culture and future. My internationally published book, Open Your Eyes and Lead, was born from my desire to make a positive impact. The content from my book came from a lifetime of experiences being in the trenches of some of the most intense obstacles. On October 10th, 2018, my UK publisher launched my book, Open Your Eyes and Lead, at the biggest yearly literary event in the world. It was in Frankfurt, Germany. My book shares a number of personal and professional stories focused on human dynamics. It's about being intentional in how we show up. We all have challenges. No one is immune. The specifics of the difficulties may be different from person to person, but the obstacles are part of every human being's life. When we learn to expect and accept change, we are better prepared to deal with the hurdles that get in our way. Now, at this point, I'm going to shut off my camera so that we can focus on the slides going forward. There will be moments in time where I may pause, and that's really to give you some time to be thinking about some of the questions that I may be asking. I look forward to going through this journey with you. So at this point, I will shut off my camera. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So change. It's not the strongest or smartest among us that thrive. It's those that are most responsive to change. Taking a chance for the better can change your whole world, in addition to the quality of life for those in your sphere of influence, personally and professionally. Have you ever had a time in your life where you felt like the victim of your circumstances? Where you felt like you had no choices? When someone or something upset your stability or caused your plans to fail, or even a major event which significantly changed your world for the worst. You know, that feeling, pulling the rug out from underneath you, an experience that is beyond unsettling, is a significant disruptor in our lives. Generally, they are associated with financial, medical, or relationship issues. Maybe you lost a job, failed a class, found out you had a medical issue, a serious medical issue like cancer, or possibly you were forced to separate from a job or a relationship very abruptly. Maybe it was the loss of a loved one after a very long, painful journey, or a quick, unexpected death. All of these examples and so many others are really tough situations to deal with. Sometimes they bring us to the point where we become derailed from our normal life. Often, we allow our minds to control our destiny through our own limited beliefs or past experiences. To make the situation even worse, most of us also have a tendency to put too much weight on other people's opinions and judgments. It's time to free ourselves from the controlling noise in our heads and empowering ourselves to trust more in our own thoughts and ideas. No one is absent of fear. Even those that are referred to as being fearless. Fearless people, and I know a number of them, are intentional about mustering up their courage to take the necessary steps forward to get to the other side of fear. I truly believe that fear is the #1 reason for people's limited trajectory in all aspects of their life. I see it all the time in my daily interactions. It's like a deer in the headlights, people frozen by their fear. Often our worries are manifested by our own thoughts. Our mind is a powerful thing. If we let our thoughts become our reality, it will dilute our progress. The stormy seas of life provide us with very valuable transformational skills. When we leverage those learnings, we elevate and accelerate our success. When we persevere through the darkest of times, the journey through helps us to grow in significant ways. By taking it one wave or step at a time, we can often survive and thrive through the intensity much better than if we try to deal with the situation as a whole. We get overwhelmed by the magnitude of the entire situation. By refocusing our thoughts and attention on the most immediate needs and conquering those things first, we will begin to make traction on the bigger issues. Now I'm going to talk about 5 key points to help us recalibrate our thoughts. Starting with #1, we all have challenges. It doesn't matter how much or how little someone has. Here's a list of some challenges that people deal with on a daily basis. And I'm curious, how many of these impact you? Financial challenges. Oh my goodness, this is so widespread. Almost everybody has some kind of financial challenges. Divorce or separation, death or dying for ourselves or somebody that's close to us. Pain and suffering from health-related challenges. Issues around addiction or abuse. Figuring out what we really want to do with our lives and how we get there. That's a huge one. So many people have that. It's almost like that saying, what do I want to do when I grow up? Some people are grown up and they still don't know what they want to do. And that's okay. That is okay. Training our brains to be our friend, not our enemy. Most people struggle with regular sabotaging thoughts. Feeling left behind or left out, living in regret, and being denied justice. #2, during your darkest moments, center in on the brightest spots. Finding the positive in every situation isn't always easy, but it is a healthier alternative to getting trapped in the extreme nature of your challenges. Negativity breeds more negativity. Your outlook on life will play a large role in how you see adverse situations. Building your awareness for how you are showing up when you are dealing with intense situations is important. Focus on a more positive attitude helps you to move forward by assessing the situation, determining a plan, and taking the necessary steps. Each experience, good or bad, has a lesson to teach us. Even though the learnings are not apparent at first, especially in difficult situations, it is normal to be upset and hurt when bad things happen. It is human nature and a part of the healing process. It's what we do after the initial hurt that separates us. Instead of allowing ourselves to be drawn into the downward spiral of depression and anger, I'd encourage you to redirect your efforts and look at the situation to find something you can learn from that experience. Number 3, even when it seems like we don't, we still have choices. Everything we do is a choice, even when we don't make a decision. That is still a choice. From the simplest actions right down to the life-changing ones, when circumstances are daunting, they can overcome us to the point where life looks like it is just a series of constraints, and we don't see ourselves having any power or choice over what we are facing. We always have a choice, no matter what our circumstances are. Even if something is out of your control, you still have a choice in how you feel, how you think, and how you react. Personal excellence is focused on being intentional about our particular path forward. I'd encourage you to find internal strength to take action and create the outcomes you desire. Number 4, most people get all knotted up in what they can't control. A large amount of people spend significant amounts of their time and energy worrying about and even craving control over things that they can't control, almost to the point of being obsessed by it. For better habits of well-being and for more productive outcomes, shift your attention into a healthier mindset by focusing your thoughts on what is within your control. Number 5, focus on what you have in your life versus what you don't. Our lives can always be worse, and they can always be better. You can be sure that there is, without exception, someone who is dealing with something more intense than what we are dealing with in any given moment. We each have so much to be thankful for. As I go through this list, please think about how these things impact your life. Which are you most thankful for? Health, trusting relationships, freedom, money in the bank, family, even if they are dysfunctional. Every family has their issues. How about our pets? Having a roof over our head, education, the skills that we've acquired since birth, like the ability to read, write, speak, hear, taste, and smell. Being able to breathe fresh air, enjoying sunshine, laughter, sports, the arts, shooting stars and rainbows, electricity, heat and air conditioning, running water, and how about a hot shower? Our armed forces, the wisdom that comes from age and experience. We can go on and on. Practicing gratitude on a regular basis helps us to realize how fortunate we truly are. Shifting your worries from the past into excitement for your future. Think about all the things that go right. Keep your focus on the positive instead of all of the what if negativities that send the flood of negative thoughts to your mind. Close the door to the past and open the gateway to a fresh start. You deserve it. So often, we forget to acknowledge and celebrate what we've accomplished. Oftentimes, it's because we move on too fast after we accomplish something without even realizing the impact and value that we provide. Frequently, we underestimate our efforts and self-worth. Going forward, try to, on a consistent basis, even if it's just for a few seconds, to marinate in your accomplishments. We all have things we are proud of. Take a moment to think of something in the last few days that you did to make a difference. Was it a new experience for yourself or somebody else? Did you create a better outcome? Did you move the needle forward on something? Or maybe you helped somebody else achieve something that they needed support with. There are so many actions that we take on a regular basis, yet we forget to appreciate who we are and the value we provide to ourselves and to others. Please don't get stuck in the past or settle for less than what you truly want. If you are in that space, I would encourage you to shift your mindset. So often, people get caught up in what they know. Frequently, it's because it's what they're comfortable with, even if it's emotionally or physically painful. You deserve more and better. Be curious, focus on new possibilities, and look for opportunities for what could be. A key ingredient in gaining momentum to a better tomorrow is to spread yourself beyond your comfort zone. To help you on your way, start with a small action that will move you forward. Follow that with another small achievement, and so on. Design your life the way you want it to be. The texture background on this slide represents all the intersecting activities and the various thoughts in our minds, equating to lots of busyness in and around us. We need the opportunity frequently to pause and take stock of what we have in our lives and what we don't. Take a moment now to think about what you really want. I know that this is a big question, but what do you really want? When we think about what we really want, base it on your ambitions, your passions, your needs, and your abilities. I believe we are all leaders of our own life. We need to be more focused on taking ownership of our own lives and not living on the sidelines. Of course, there will always be things that happen in our lives that we cannot control. We always have control of how we interpret and respond to these situations. When we shift our thoughts to accepting and allowing ourselves to be the primary driver in all areas of our world, we gain more control of our future. It is up to us to shape our lives based on what we truly want. As you voyage through the essence of your life, be intentional about capturing all the different types of experiences. Capitalize on your courage and curiosity to secure and search for opportunities to expand yourself. The transferable skills that you will learn are hugely valuable as you compass through and towards your journeys. Anything new needs an increased level of attention and effort to be successful. Most people don't like change, yet it is necessary for the progress that they seek. Think about something that you've been wanting to accomplish for a while now. Are you truly committed to accomplishing that goal? If so, what are you going to do differently starting today to make traction towards achieving that goal? Ambition can get yanked away from us due to things like injury, infertility, death, age, poverty, and chronic illness. Sometimes the hands people are dealt brings feelings of bitterness, being cheated, sad, or angry. It's really hard to accept and rebuild. It takes time, but well worth the transformation. Hopes and dreams are important to have. Our aspirations only become a reality when we apply specific goals, including a positive attitude, smart choices, and a consistent effort towards the traction of our aspirations. We each have spark within us. Even though it may seem at times like we don't, we do. That energy emits across to others in our sphere of influence, and it can power up a ripple effect of action in a favorable way. Don't underestimate who is motivated by your actions. Leading by example in all aspects of your life helps to propel others forward. This could be children, friends, family, colleagues, parents, siblings, relatives, or even a complete stranger. Your actions have a ripple effect, both good and bad. So be conscientious and intentional about how you show up every day. The flight of the sparks on this slide help us to visualize the orbit and far-reaching of our actions. Some projectiles are small and some large. Some have shorter reach, others extend beyond what we can see on the slide. The power of our spark has an unlimited depth and breadth of possibilities. The strength of many complements the power of one. Together, we achieve more. Motivation plays a critical role in productivity, quality, and speed of progress. Smart leaders are about inspiring and motivating others and helping others to be brave and take the intentional next step. When we are excited, motivated, and engaged in what we do, it results in a chain reaction of more favorable outcomes for our world. It is up to all of us to magnify our thinking and be intentional about our actions going forward. The flawed treasure of perseverance. We all make mistakes, myself included. It's about what we learn from those mistakes that helps us to achieve our dreams. Each one of you already have inside of you what it takes to expand your horizons. Leverage all of your skills, experiences, and abilities to get to your next level of success. Remember, you are the leader of your own life. If you are in pursuit of additional learnings to help propel yourself forward, please check out my best-selling leadership book on Amazon or my website, capistranleadership.com. Thank you for your attendance and attention. I hope that I have shared some powerful nuggets of wisdom that will help you to accelerate to your next level of success. My wish for all of you is that you choose to live an intentionally fulfilling life. Mickey, thank you again for the opportunity. I'll turn the presentation back to you so that we can have a question and answer section.
Thank you, Nancy, for that wonderful presentation. I hope that you're all ready now to be the primary drivers of your future. And please ask your questions as you're typing in your questions. I also want to invite you to join the I'm Back at Work Facebook group, where we support each other on a daily basis and on your job search, your career in general. It's I Am Back at Work on Facebook. So we'll wait in another moment for any questions. I think that you're so inspiring, Nancy, to have people take charge of their lives and make positive decisions. I hope people are not just a little bit overwhelmed while they're asking their questions.
You know, it's interesting. I think sometimes, you know, transformation, people want different, but it's so scary because we have all of these thoughts in our mind about what could happen, and it's always focused on the bad things that can happen. We don't necessarily think about all the wonderful things that can happen. And it's really about commitment. It's the commitment for what we want.
And I agree, and I think we've all been there. We've all been in a situation where it's really hard to see the positive, where that negative is just looking at us in the face. And I think one advice that I always say to people as well, if you're talking to a friend, because the way we talk to ourselves in our head, usually we're so hard with ourselves, but just think if you would tell those same things to a friend, usually not. So be friendlier to yourself as well.
It's so true, so true. And I see it day in and day out. And when people become brave and say, well, maybe I could do that. And then they start thinking about, okay, well, I would do this first, and then I do that next. And, I could do that. It seems so much more manageable than, you know, taking the whole big task on. It's overwhelming, and people don't even know where to begin.
I agree. Jasmine is asking us, when there is a dilemma between two life-changing decisions, how to know which to choose?
I think what it would come down to is being brutally honest with yourself. What are you most passionate about? Sometimes it may be a personal and a professional, and that really makes it hard trying to figure out which is more important. But I think we have to look inside of ourselves to say, which one seems like it's the right fit based on what I want for my future. And sometimes we have to do things because it's, you know, there's a financial piece of it. But I would venture to say that when you stick with what your passions are and what you truly want for your life, that will guide your journey into coming up with the right choices. One thing that I have done with some of my clients is I've asked them to kind of put a list together of, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages, but what do they really want? What do they want for their future? What's most important to them? Like if it was a job, let's say somebody was contemplating, maybe they had two different offers or possibilities for a job, but they were different from each other. It's about putting a list down of what's most important to each of us. Like, so say I was looking for, a new job and I had two possibilities. I wrote down a list of, like, I wanted to be within a half hour of my home. I wanted to have a flexible schedule. I wanted to make sure I had at least 2 weeks of vacation, whatever those things are. I needed to have good benefits. And you just kind of put that list down. And then when you have that list, then put it in a priority sequence for what is most important to you. Once you have that list, it's also important to know what you really don't want. Like, I don't want a micromanager for a boss. I don't want to work nights, or I don't want to travel a lot. Whatever those things are, only you know what those things are, but what do you like most and what do you like least? Get that on a list and then look at each of the situations and say, which of these situations, rate them from 1 to 4. Like, all right, this one is going to give me the vacation time that I want. So you give them a 4. And the other one's like, I'm not getting what I want for vacation, so I'm going to give them a 2. Or, I don't have a lot of flexibility, so I'm giving them a 1. But this other company, I'll be able to work from home, or, I'll be able to come in a little bit later or leave later or earlier, whatever the situation is for you. But you rate it accordingly. And then you tally up what the totals are, but keep in mind the things that are most important to you on your priority list. If the first couple that they can't meet, then you just need to make sure that you're going in with your eyes wide open on what to expect and what not to expect. But oftentimes, being able to do something like that type of a list does help to make the decisions that will best serve you in any situation, whether it's personal or professional.
I couldn't agree more. And I also, sometimes it's good to do it in an Excel. You can go back to it in the future. And if you say then further down the line, you have another option, you can go back and you can revise. Are those priorities still relevant for me today? And one other exercise that I like to do with people is think about both options, and then one at a time envision yourself, let's say in 3 months, in a year's time, and try and sort of harnessing on that feeling. What are you feeling then? Is that what's really making you happy? Is that really the choice for you? Try and do that with both options to really get the feeling of what feels better, what feels more right, what is taking you in the right direction, and again, for you.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Nicely said.
Well, at this point, I don't see any other questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you all on upcoming webinars. Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
You too.
Thank you.